is up, everyone? My name will be Josh. This is Strain Central, and today we are going to be doing a product review on the Vivant Ambit. So this is actually just a dry herb vaporizer, a convection vaporizer that honestly I'd kind of consider to be like the budget, but also like one of the more functional vaporizers. So I don't say that with any kind of a slight. Like, this is the cheapest vaporizer I've ever found that is the most functional for its price. I would honestly have to say this is one of those vapes that kind of puts up with like Mighties, the Crafties, the Evos, like all of the top tier vapes that are $200-$300. This thing, I'm not just saying this as like a paid endorsement. I really enjoy this thing. For $89 or $79.99, that's like the most reasonable price that I've found for a vape in a long time. But I'm already rambling and I just started the video. So let's actually jump into kind of like specs and stuff of the actual unit. Also, random little like side bit. Vivant, most people don't know even how to say the name, but Vivant actually means living in French. So some people translate that as life, but living is technically what that actually means in French. So it's not just a random name, Vivant. It actually has like meaning behind it. That all being said, let's actually jump into the specs of the unit. So like I said earlier, this is just a dry herb vaporizer, and it actually is a convection vaporizer is what they claim. So after playing with it and using it for a while, I'd say that's a pretty substantiated claim. That being said, I'd say it's more of maybe like an 80-20 or a 90-10 hybrid convection vaporizer. Just because this actually does have, I haven't actually been able to confirm if it's stainless or aluminum, but the herb does sit in the chamber and it does actually have some direct contact, so I consider that technically conduction. That all being said, it's really, really, really good at like evenly heating material, and unless I'm like vaping at super high heats, I have found almost no actual combustion. So for the actual screen itself, it does actually have an OLED screen on top here. It's the standard 5-click turn on like basically every other vape. And when it comes to temperature adjustment, you can adjust from 212 to 446 degrees by the specific degree. So I know for people that chase terps, that chase flavor, that like specific, temperatures, that's really awesome. And I've also found that when you kind of have like entire variability like this, you can pick and find what works for you. It's not just like, oh, I guess I have to use the green setting, or I have to use the blue setting, or I have to use the red setting. Like, you can find the exact temperature that you can kind of use. And honestly, vaping different material, you'll find that different material needs different temperatures. So for me, in units like this, the by the degree variability is really important. And an $80 price point, I've never seen that. Like, anything usually under probably $150 just has like 4 basic settings that they choose and they set. So the entire kind of like variability aspect of this is really cool to me. So the chamber, like I said earlier, is, I don't know if it's aluminum or if it's stainless, but it's some kind of a metal, and it's about 0.5 gram. You can probably load it a little bit more, but I've honestly found between like 0.3 and 0.5 is like the sweet spot for it. So battery-wise, this thing does actually have a 1500 milliamp hour battery, which they claim will last for 10 sessions. And what a session is basically, this thing has a 120-second heat-up timer. So what that means is it expels all its power in that like small amount of time, which is actually kind of a good thing. Like, I was sketched out by that at first. It annoyed me at first. But then I realized that I don't have to take a 15-second super long draw to actually get a cloud. So the mouthpiece itself is also really cool because it's magnetic, so you can just like really quickly pop it off. It's a strong magnet, so I haven't found it like popping off in my pocket or like anything annoying like that. But it's a really easy to clean, you can take it entirely apart mouthpiece that's made of a polyether ether ketone, or PEEK for short, which is basically just a food grade plastic in the organic polymer plastic like field of things. And it's been used since like the 1980s, so it's pretty like well known, it's well studied, and it's safe to use. And I think the last 2 specs that I need to cover are just the actual charging. So it charges with just really standard micro USB, and then it weighs, I think, about 3.5 ounces, which is just about 100 grams. So it's not like a super heavy unit, but you still feel like you have something in your hands. And that all being said, also, this is actually a really, really quality, well-made feeling product. Like, some of the cheaper vapes you buy just feel super cheap, but because they actually use like quality plastics, yet again, it feels like it's a nice piece. And that I can't even say it, polyether ether ketone is usually really only used in like the super high-end vapes, like yet again, the Crafty or the Mighty. So the fact that this was used in like a cheap vape, a budget vape that works, it blows my mind. I forgot to turn the heater off, so I am fucking dying in this studio right now under these lights. But let's actually get to using this, guys. I definitely hope you guys are smoking along, dabbing along, vaping along, getting those cannabinoids nice and deep into your lungs, because these are going to be deep into mine. It's heating right now. It's getting ready to go. But cheers, guys. I guess we'll get ourselves a nice hit. And that was not a combusted hit. That's the best part about this, is you can get hits that almost kind of look like clouds, but are still vapor and don't combust your material. Like, all those things combined are what kind of blown me away with this. So like I said, you only get 2 minutes, so it's a pretty quick little session. That being said, your first couple of rips like actually deliver that vape to you, and it's not like you're just sitting there like, is this thing gonna work? Am I gonna get anything out of this? And usually vapes that produce like this, you're seeing them almost immediately combust your bowl. All your weed's burnt. It's not actually vaporizing. So, very impressive, honestly. I can say this, not like I said as like earlier, not just as, and you can also increase the session time if you really want to by just pressing the button twice. It adds another 30 seconds onto your session. Turn this thing off. You just hold the button to turn it off, and then it stops heating. Your session's done. So it's super, super, super easy to use. This is like the perfect beginner vape, because some of the vapes I've used, especially like the Magic Flight Box, the learning curve is just, it takes months to figure out how to actually hit it perfectly. Whereas this, you can hit perfectly almost every time. So I've found a lot of like, I'm legitimately impressed. I have a closet full of vaporizers that I never touch. I've actually found myself reaching for this in like normal sessions. So it's legitimately impressed me. So after like actually emptying this out and dumping the material out on the table, this is entirely just vaporized material. There's no blackening, there's no combustion, and honestly, I'm vaping pretty high. So I guess we'll basically just break down pros and cons now, even though I almost kind of feel like this entire video has basically just been like a pro. Reasons why I actually enjoy this vaporizer. But I have found some cons that I will obviously throw in all the time. And they're very minor, but they're improvements that can really easily be made. So, and honestly, one of them can be improved by something they sell. So my first big technical con is the fact that if you hit this for like 3 sessions, the mouthpiece does heat up. It does get kind of hot. It's a little bit annoying. That being said, they actually have a water pipe attachment, and I think they're making other mouthpieces, so I don't think that's going to be an issue in the future. And then I think my second con would probably just be charge time. I feel like this could hold a little bit more of a charge. Realistically, you only get, if you're using it consistently, a day's worth of use out of it. So it does have a 1500 milliamp hour battery, which I'd almost expect to hold a little bit more of a charge. That being said, it's an easy fix in version 2, bigger battery, and that's about all you really need. Maybe a mouthpiece that's a little bit bigger to kind of make a bigger vapor pathway and cool that smoke down a little bit, but that's really all I got for cons. So I genuinely enjoy this unit. I feel like I haven't like ranted and raved about a vape like this in a long time. So thank you very much, Vivant, for actually sending this on over my way. I'm gonna go ahead and take one more big ol' rip off this boy and call this an episode. So I definitely hope every single one of you is having yourself an awesome day. I definitely hope if shit's going rough that you find the power to push through it. You find the power to get some shit done, and you realize that you are who you can be. You're a good person. You just have to, work towards that good person. So, cheers, guys. My camera would die mid-final hit, so cheers, guys. Final hit now. Stay positive, stay medicated. Peace, guys.